like that. Welcome to a date with me and my lovely husband Nikhil. We've been together for 10 years and today we wanted to share 10 love lessons that we've learned over all of these years. Some thoughts on what we think keeps our marriage going strong and smooth and more importantly keeps the love alive. So I have 5 thoughts, Nikhil has 5 and we're going to turn by turn share them with each other and with you.
So these thoughts are about how to keep a good relationship going strong, keep it fresh and keep it thriving for a long time. But if your relationship is struggling in the basics, then maybe some of these thoughts might not make so much sense. So just a disclaimer to get started.
In a relationship, we often focus on the time that we spend together. But what I've learned is that for a relationship to fully blossom, it's very important that you spend time with yourselves also. And that you create the space where the other person can also spend time with themselves. The time you spend with yourself helps you come closer to your true nature, helps you discover your true self. And this in turn makes the time spent with your partner more meaningful and more fulfilling. Look, it's very simple. The relationship will only thrive as much as the individuals in the relationship are individually thriving. So yeah, take the time to be with yourself and recognize that it makes the moments of togetherness even more special. So this is one of the most important things that I just really love about our relationship. We spend so much time with ourselves, like even at home, even though I work from home and Nikhil also works from home because of the pandemic now, we don't feel like we have to talk to each other constantly or we have to spend so much time with each other just because we're in the same physical environment. He's doing his thing, I'm doing mine, and whenever I need some attention from him, which sometimes in a day I do, I just go up to him and he gives me that attention. He gives me advice if I'm looking for it. He gives me comfort if I'm looking for it. Just company if I want that. And then I can go back to my own space and I can thrive in my own space.
We are not always feeling good about ourselves or about each other. It's simply not possible. But what I've gotten from Anita is 100% acceptance of who and what I am. With that has come a kind of comfort that makes a home feel like home. She is home to me. That I feel is the biggest gift two partners can give each other. Full and complete acceptance. It doesn't mean we don't disagree. It does mean that even in our disagreement, we never reject each other. We are able to live like friends who can have a disagreement, but the disagreement doesn't go to the heart. We accept each other's strengths and we accept each other's weaknesses too.
Something I want to say about acceptance is, when you accept yourself fully, it becomes that much easier to accept other people as they are. That is one thing that is worth spending time on and working on, is accepting yourself. Which brings us back to what we were talking about before as well, which is spending time with yourselves and getting to know your own self. So that makes your acceptance journey easy and it makes your acceptance of other people smoother and just more natural. Do I say I love this person because he makes me feel good, or certain needs of mine are being taken care of by him, or I like spending time with him? I mean, is that love? Feeling something for someone because they are giving you something that you need? Or is love celebrating the other person as they are? To say, I love Nikhil and I'm here for him, whatever he wants to do, however he wants to live his life, without only focusing on whether my needs are being met. To love, and so to recognize that the other person is free. Your love should free the person and not make them feel bound. It should not bind them. If you're able to create that space where the other person can be themselves and blossom into their true potential, I think that kind of love is absolutely pure.
But you know what goes, I think, in hand with that is you wanting that freedom yourself as well.
Yeah.
Everyone wants it, but sometimes I think it's also important how to then use it responsibly.
That is true.
That is, I think, the responsibly using part key. Then you have to give it to the other person as well. First take it for yourself, because nobody can give you that. The next thing I want to talk about is how we both believe in the goodness of each other's heart. No matter what mistake might happen, or how many times I run over the swivel wheels of my chair over her feet, she does forgive me. She never doubts that I only want the best for her. She's willing to see my mistake as a mistake and forgive me for it. After I apologize for it, of course. Come on, she's a loving wife, not a saint. But trusting in each other's good intentions lets us save so much time and emotional energy. We never have to explain each other to the other person. And we especially never have to prove our love to each other. It's anyway something that can never be proven. We can just focus on the situations in front of us and move ahead trusting that we have each other's backs. Hands in hand, smiles on our face.
Okay, this one I think is super important. Never take a fight to bed. Whatever it is, resolve it before you sleep. Done.
That's it?
It is as simple as it sounds. Never take a fight to bed. Whatever it is, resolve it before you sleep. I mean, why would you want to put yourself in a situation where you're going to sleep with all that negativity pent up inside of you? You're sleeping beside the person whom you're not feeling nice towards. Why not resolve it? Give the other person a nice hug and go to bed in that loving space. You wake up feeling nice about yourself and the relationship and don't wake up feeling all cranky and bad and, thinking about the past.
True. The first, when I initially started spending time with Anita and she would do this, it was very surprising to me because in my previous relationship I was like, no, when you have a fight, it's like a week long or sometimes a month long thing. Here it was so easy, we had a fight, it's over, done. The next thing I want to talk about is how we focus on each other's growth. I think we both instinctively understand that whatever we focus on grows in life. I think we can credit both sets of our parents for that. They're all very positive-minded people. So we never even talk negative about each other, to each other or even to anyone else. She will never complain to me if she didn't like something I did until she has some suggestion or some advice on how I can do it in a way that makes it work. And I try to do the same. But what's more, that even after having explained it to me, she never nags me about it. She lets me take the time that I need to change my habits. After all, these are all very old patterns and they hardly ever change overnight. Since we are both growth-minded individuals, we love such feedback, which helps us become better people and better partners to each other. And this helps us see our relationship as something that we are constantly evolving in rather than something that is static.
Everybody grows. Everything changes. Nothing in the world is stagnant, right? And neither are we. We are also constantly evolving. But it is so important to communicate these changes with your partner as they are happening. The worst thing you can do for a relationship is completely change and then spring a surprise or rather a rude shock to your partner and be like, no, this is who I am now. Because by the time you get there, the gap between you and your older self and the gap between you and your partner becomes too large. And then it becomes that much more difficult to reconcile, right? And along the way, as you're going through these changes and not communicating them to your partner, a lot of negativity gets pent up inside of you because you feel like he doesn't understand where I'm coming from, he doesn't see what I need, he's not understanding my growth, because you are not communicating that to your partner. And all of this negativity gets pent up inside of you, and one fine day, my friend, sure as hell, it'll come out like a flood. And you don't want that happening. And I think I've done that a few times to you, and yeah. Thanks for helping me become aware of it. I like to think that I don't do that so often now.
I used to do that. I remember, we had a conversation sometime back where she said, Anita pulled me up on that. You keep it inside you, it grows and grows and grows, and then one day you have a blast. And she's like, then it's too much for me to just take it in one go. Maybe if you just kept me updated. And it made a lot of sense, so I've also learned that from her. I think this one is very important. Having a goal that is bigger than us. Too often I see relationships where the other person and your involvement with them is all that the relationship is about. The partners don't have something bigger than them that they can work on. In our case, both of us have things that we want to do, a life that we want to create for ourselves and our loved ones, and something that we want to create and give to the world. Then our partner is someone who is a partner in that journey that we are on. The partner isn't the goal. That is important, I feel. Else, every little up and down in the relationship becomes such a big thing. Now, Anita helps me in the things I want to do, and I try to do all that I can to help her succeed. As part of my journey recently, I realized I needed to move houses to a more central part of Delhi. And when I told it to her, all she said was, if it helps you, I'll happily do it. Now, how can you not love a person like that? In turn, I've been thinking about how I can make sure that this move helps take her YouTube work to the next level. So our focus is then on what we can do for each other and not what we can get from each other. And living this way, both of us actually end up getting a lot more from each other than you could have ever asked for.
Recognize that you are an individual and so is the other person. Do not get caught up in the labels: wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend. Society defines these labels and then sticks them onto you. And then along with that come expectations on each of these people that is stuck with a label. A wife must behave like this, a husband must do that. And it becomes easy to get sucked into these labels and these expectations and start projecting these expectations onto the other person and drown them and yourself in these expectations. We forget the person that we fell in love with and get attached to the role. He is my husband, so he has to do this for me. Instead of getting attached to the tags, just see that he is also another person, just like me. A person with likes and dislikes and needs and desires, and a person who wants freedom, a person who also wanted to blossom in his life, just like me. I think we've been very fortunate that from the get-go, our relationship has been like that.
We often even, jokingly ask each other after we got married that, oh, you're my husband, you're my wife, wow.
Yeah.
Like somehow those labels never meant so much to me. It was always about, this is the person that I'm with. And we wear the labels now because you're married and, the society will see you as husband and wife. But it's like a little jacket that you put on. It's not the main crux of the relationship.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be 6 years since we've been married, and I still feel very weird when I introduce Nikhil as my husband, and I'm like, oh, he's my husband. I don't know, that just sounds very weird. Yeah. I guess it's also because of maybe my own conditioning also, from when you're a child, right? This is what you see on TV, this is how you hear elders talk, that a husband has to do this, that and that. But I don't look at you like that. So calling you that or putting that tag on you just feels very instinctively weird. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is my husband.
Did you ever feel that way when it was about boyfriend, girlfriend?
No, because I feel boyfriend and girlfriend, we kind of defined that ourselves maybe, because it wasn't something, at least when we were growing up, we saw a lot of on TV, and at least the families that I came from, we wouldn't really talk about these things. So there weren't a lot of labels and expectations already attached with that tag. But I kind of got to define and describe and explore that with you. So that was okay. And in fact, up to 2 years after we got married, I would still introduce him as my boyfriend. Yeah, this is my boyfriend, Nikhil.
So basically what you're saying, that you had the freedom to define the boyfriend-girlfriend role as you wanted, and so it was never an issue. And
more than define it, to discover what it meant to us. It wasn't like a preconceived notion, even just from me, right? But it was like, oh, this is what is happening between us, and okay, so this is how it is, and yeah, more of discovery than defining something.
For the last point, I want to talk about how we talk often. But more than this, I would say, we listen every time the other talks. Neither of us believes that only I know what is right or this is how things should be. We both understand that there is only what is right in the moment. And what that thing is something that we have to discover together in every challenge or situation that comes in front of us. That makes every challenge a beautiful opportunity to act together, and in the process of facing it, discovering ourselves and then sharing it with each other. Anytime we experience something deep or feel something that is pulling us down or taking us up, we make the time to share it with the other person. Our realizations, our pains, our joys, what touched our hearts or what irritated our heads.
I must say, this was a bit of a journey for me to get to this point, and especially the thing you just spoke about. Is because I think used to be very caught up in my own perspective, in my own version of the reality, right? No, I know best and this is how things should be. Because whatever I thought I knew always worked for me in life. And so even in the relationship, I was like, no, this has worked for me in the past, so it has to work with Nikhil also. Which is kind of stupid when you think about it, because he has his own upbringing, he has his own mind and brain and intellect and ego and all of that. So he brings his own dish to the table. So you bring both of your dishes together and see how to combine it best instead of trying to be like, nahi, mera hi poha khana hai.
I think you put it very well, that the thing is that you have something which worked for you, but now in the relationship you have to find the thing that works for us. You have to go from that I and me to the us. Otherwise, you're just two people who will be banging heads all the time. I mean, imagine if we were doing that. I mean, we come from totally different cultures. I'm a North Indian Punjabi. She's a South Indian Telugu girl. Everything that we have been brought up on has been very different in our lives, and I think we were free enough with each other that we could just discover the us instead of bringing all our conditionings.
What a cozy date it has been. We would really like to thank Dough and Cream for allowing us to use their beautiful space to shoot this video. We wanted someplace cozy and nice, someplace different from the usual setup where I shoot my videos for this, because this one's special for us. Since we just finished 10 years of being together, and this one's really special.
So that was us and our thoughts about what makes our relationship work. But we'd love to hear from you. What are the things that help you keep your relationship alive and joyful?
So let us know in the comments below. In the meantime, if you want to see more videos with Nikhil in them, you can click somewhere here on the screen. I will put it up. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.